The stars outside the observation window looked different that day. Commander Hyun Park knew something was changing, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. The massive orbital station hummed with quiet energy, its systems running smoothly like always, but there was an electricity in the air that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. A small screen flickered to life beside him. Intercepted alien communications were nothing new, but today's transmission was different. Park leaned closer, his dark eyes narrowing as he listened. "Can you believe these humans?" A gravelly voice crackled through the speakers. "They're still using chemical rockets and primitive communication systems. It's almost laughable." Another voice joined in, a high-pitched sound that reminded Park of wind cutting through metal. "Primitive is an understatement. They haven't even developed stable faster than light travel. The Confederation will have them classified as a Tier 3 civilization at best." Park's fingers tightened around the edge of the console. He had heard alien mockery before, but this felt different, more deliberate, more dangerous. The station's communication officer, a young woman named Kim Jae-yun, approached with a datapad. Her face was serious, her movements precise. "Sir," she said quietly, "we've compiled the full transmission. You'll want to see this." The screen expanded, showing a detailed breakdown of alien communications. The Corvin Stellar Dominion, a massive galactic alliance, had been discussing Earth for weeks. Their conversations were a mix of scientific curiosity and outright contempt. One particularly detailed report caught Park's attention. It was a comprehensive assessment of human technological capabilities. The aliens had carefully analyzed everything from Earth's military technology to its communication networks. Their conclusion was brutal and simple. Humans were nothing more than a potential workforce, a species barely worth considering as intelligent beings. "They think we're children," Park muttered to himself. Jae-yun nodded. "Worse than children. Sir, they think we're tools, resources to be used." The transmission continued, each word carefully translated by the station's advanced linguistic algorithms. The aliens spoke about humans as if they were discussing farm animals or industrial equipment. They mapped out potential scenarios for human integration into their galactic society, always as servants, never as equals. One Corvin official, identified only as Diplomatic Coordinator Xel, was particularly vocal. "These humans have potential," the alien said, "but they lack the fundamental understanding of galactic politics. They will make excellent manual laborers once properly managed." Park felt something burning inside him. It wasn't anger, not exactly. It was something colder, something more calculated. Outside the observation window, Earth looked peaceful, a blue and green marble suspended in the vast darkness of space. To the aliens, it was just another small planet waiting to be cataloged and controlled. They didn't know humans very well. The station's advanced communication systems continued to pick up transmissions. Each one added another layer to the growing picture. The Galactic Confederation saw humanity as a curiosity at best, a potential resource at worst. They had no concept of human determination, no understanding of what humans were capable of when pushed into a corner. "Sir," Jae-yun said softly, "what are our next steps?" Park turned, his face calm, but his eyes sharp. "We prepare," he responded. "We listen, and we make sure they understand exactly who they're talking about." The stars outside continued to shine, indifferent to the conversation happening inside the orbital station. But something was changing. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Humanity was listening, and humanity was ready. The United Nations building in New York looked different today. The usual diplomatic buzz had been replaced by a heavy silence. Inside the main conference room, General Jae Kim stood near the large world map, his fingers tracing invisible lines of strategy. Diplomatic channels had been busy for weeks. The Galactic Confederation's messages were becoming more bold, more insulting with each passing day. Today was different. Today, they had crossed a line. A holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the room. The alien ambassador, A being made of what looked like living crystal appeared larger than life. His name was Krell, and he didn't bother to hide his contempt for humanity. "Humans," Krell began, his voice a mix of electronic translation and something else, something that sounded like pure condescension. "Your species has shown minimal progress in galactic standards. We are prepared to offer you a chance at meaningful existence." Admiral Su-Jin Lee sat quietly, her hands folded neatly on the table. She looked calm, but anyone who knew her understood the storm brewing behind her eyes. The alien continued. "Your technological achievements are rudimentary at best. Your space exploration is limited to a few small missions within your own solar system. The Galactic Confederation has decided to provide guidance. You will be integrated into our systems as a developing civilization." In the back of the room, a young analyst named Park Dong-hook couldn't help but smile. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Krell's projection continued its speech. He talked about civilizing humans, about bringing them into the greater galactic community. But his words were really just a thinly veiled threat. Humans would become workers, servants, a resource to be used and managed. General Kim's voice cut through the silence. "And if we refuse?" The crystal-like ambassador seemed to shimmer with amusement. "Refusal is not an option. The Confederation has already mapped your planet's resources. Your leadership will comply, or we will ensure compliance." It was a mistake, a huge mistake. In secret facilities around the world, teams of scientists and military strategists were already working. They had been preparing for this moment for years. While the aliens thought humans were simple and weak, they were building something remarkable. Deep underneath the Nevada desert, a research facility hummed with activity. Dr. Hyun Park reviewed data streams that would make the Alien Confederation's best scientists look like children playing with toys. Quantum computing systems that could process more information in a second than most civilizations could in a year. Adaptive weapon systems that could change strategy faster than any biological brain could think. Back in the UN building, Admiral Lee spoke softly. "They underestimate us," she said to General Kim. "They always underestimate us." Kim nodded. His hand touched a small device on the table, a communication system so advanced that it made the aliens' technology look like old radio equipment. The alien ambassador continued his speech, outlining the Confederation's generous offer: mandatory technology transfers, resource mapping, complete submission to galactic oversight. Each word was another nail in their own coffin. Dong-hook looked at the holographic projection and felt something rising inside him. It wasn't fear. It was something else. Excitement. Determination. A feeling that humanity was about to show the galaxy exactly what they were made of. Outside the UN building, the city continued its daily rhythm. People walked on sidewalks. Cars moved through streets. Nobody knew that at this moment, humanity's entire future was being decided. Krell finished his speech with a final, crushing statement. "You will comply. Resistance is illogical. The Galactic Confederation's technology is millions of years beyond your understanding." General Kim looked directly at the holographic projection. His smile was small, but it was dangerous. "We'll see about that," he said quietly. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson. Humans might look simple. Humans might seem weak. But when pushed into a corner, humans became something else entirely. Something terrifying. The official document arrived on a Tuesday. Most people would have missed its importance, but not Colonel Wu Jin. He read every single word carefully, his fingers moving slowly across the digital screen. The Galactic Confederation had sent their final ultimatum. It was not a request. It was a demand. Complete planetary surrender. The document read in plain, cold language. All technological systems must be transferred to Galactic Confederation control. All resource extraction rights will be granted to Confederation mining corporations. Human leadership will be replaced by Galactic Confederation-approved administrators. The words seemed to burn on the screen. In the background, Colonel Jin's communication system blinked with incoming messages. Military leaders from around the world were gathering. Something big was happening. A video call connected. Admiral Park appeared, her face serious and calm. "Have you read the full document?" she asked. Jin nodded. Every single word. The ultimatum was detailed. The aliens wanted everything. They demanded complete access to Earth's communication networks. They wanted control of all major infrastructure, power plants, transportation systems, communication towers, military bases. "They think we're children," Jin said quietly. The document continued with its list of demands. Humans would be re-educated about their place in the galactic community. Their current governments would be dissolved. New leadership would be selected by the Confederation. It was more than an insult. It was a complete erasure of human independence. In military research centers around the world, teams were already moving. Scientists who had been working on secret projects for years now had their chance. Weapons designers, computer experts, communication specialists. They all understood what this meant. Earth was not going to surrender. Colonel Jin opened another file. It was a report from Dr. Hyun Kim, one of the top research scientists in the world. The report was short but powerful. It outlined humanity's hidden capabilities, technologies that the Galactic Confederation knew nothing about, quantum communication systems that could send messages faster than light, adaptive weapon platforms that could change strategy in milliseconds, artificial intelligence systems that could process more information in a second than most alien civilizations could in a year. The aliens thought humans were weak. They were wrong. In a secure facility deep underneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of engineers worked on something special. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was something much more dangerous. An adaptive communication and warfare system that could learn and change faster than any biological intelligence could understand. Colonel Jin read the final lines of the Confederation's ultimatum. The tone was clear. Surrender was not a request. It was a command. But humans were not good at following commands. Around the world, military bases went into high alert. Not with panic, not with fear, but with a cold, calculated preparation that would make the Galactic Confederation understand one simple truth. Humans were not going to be anyone's slaves. The communication system blinked again. Another message came through. This one from the United Nations Security Council. The message was simple and clear. Prepare for response. Outside, the world looked normal. People walked on streets. Cars moved. Children played in parks. Nobody knew that at this moment, humanity was about to change forever. Colonel Wu Jin looked at the ultimatum one more time. He pressed a single button on his communication device. The response was beginning. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Humanity was not going to surrender. Not today. Not ever. The underground facility was unlike anything the aliens could imagine. Buried deep beneath the Nevada desert, it stretched for miles in every direction. Dr. Hyun Park walked slowly through the main research corridor, her footsteps echoing against metal walls. Around her, the world's best minds were working on something special, something that would change everything. Computer screens filled with complex data. Holographic displays showed rotating models of technologies that looked like they came from the future. But this wasn't the future. This was happening right now. "Show me the latest test results," Park said to a young engineer named Kim Sung-ho. He nodded and pulled up a series of complex diagrams. Most people would see nothing but lines and numbers. But Park saw something else. She saw humanity's secret weapon. The facility had been preparing for this moment for decades. While the world thought they were developing standard military technology, something much more interesting was happening. Adaptive systems that could think faster than any living brain. Weapon platforms that could change strategy in microseconds. Communication networks that could process more information than entire alien civilizations. In one room, a team worked on quantum communication systems. These were not just communication tools. They were weapons of a kind the galaxy had never seen before. The last test showed a 99.8% success rate, Sung-ho explained. His fingers moved across the screen, showing complex data streams. Our adaptive AI can now predict and counter potential threat scenarios faster than any biological intelligence. Park nodded. This was more than technology. This was humanity's survival strategy. Another section of the facility focused on something even more interesting: biological adaptation technologies, ways to enhance human capabilities beyond what any alien civilization could understand, not through genetic modification, but through advanced training and technological integration. Soldiers were being prepared. Not just soldiers, warriors who could adapt to any situation faster than the enemy could think. In a training room, a group of Special Forces operators practiced with new weapon systems. These were not normal weapons. These were adaptive platforms that could change shape, strategy, and function in milliseconds. A holographic display showed potential alien ship configurations. The training system was already developing counter-strategies faster than any human could manually calculate. We're not just preparing to defend, Park muttered to herself. We're preparing to show them exactly who we are. Underground facilities like this existed around the world. In the Rocky Mountains, beneath the Australian outback, deep under the Siberian wilderness. Each one was developing something unique, something the aliens could never predict. Sung-ho showed another set of data. Our communication networks can now process information at speeds that make alien technology look like old radio equipment, he said. Park understood what this meant. Humanity was building something more than just a defense system. They were building a complete response mechanism, a way to not just survive, but to completely overwhelm any potential threat. The facility hummed with quiet energy. Computers processed billions of calculations every second. Weapon designers created platforms that could adapt faster than any living brain could think. Communication experts developed networks that could share information across the planet in less time than it takes to blink. Outside, the world continued its normal routine. People had no idea what was being prepared beneath their feet. We're ready, Park said quietly. The young engineer looked at her. Are we really going to do this? Park's smile was small, but it was dangerous. We're going to show them exactly who humans are, she responded. The preparation was complete. Humanity was ready. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The first alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system on a quiet Tuesday morning. They thought it would be easy. They were wrong. Commander Hyun Park watched the screens carefully. Dozens of alien battleships moved into formation, their massive hulls gleaming with technology that had conquered countless worlds. They looked powerful. They looked unbeatable. They had no idea what was coming. Activate primary defense network, Park said quietly into his communication system. Nothing seemed to happen. To anyone watching, it would look like the solar system was completely defenseless. The alien ships moved closer, their weapons charging. They were preparing to demonstrate their power, to show humans their place in the galaxy. The first warning came when the aliens' own communication systems began to fail. Strange signals started interfering with their networks. At first, it was just small disruptions. A communication channel would go silent. A navigation system would show incorrect data. The alien commanders thought it was just a minor technical issue. They were wrong. Suddenly, dozens of small objects began to appear around the alien fleet. They looked like nothing special. Small drones, tiny communication relays. But these were not normal devices. These were humanity's secret weapons. The drones moved with impossible speed. They were not controlled by human hands. They were controlled by something much more dangerous. An adaptive AI system that could think and react faster than any living brain. Target identified, a computer voice said. The first alien ship exploded before its crew even understood what was happening. Then another, and another. Park watched the screens carefully. The alien fleet was experiencing something they had never seen before: total system failure. Their most advanced technologies were being turned against them in seconds. The drones moved like living things. They attacked communication systems. They destroyed weapon platforms. They found every single weakness in the alien ship's defenses. How is this possible? One alien commander screamed into his communication system. The answer was simple. Humans had been preparing for this moment for years. Quantum communication networks allowed human controllers to send instructions faster than light. Adaptive AI systems could predict and counter alien strategies in microseconds. Weapon platforms could change shape and function faster than any biological intelligence could understand. The alien fleet was not just being defeated, it was being destroyed completely. Entire battleships turned into expanding clouds of radioactive debris. Communication systems crashed. Navigation computers failed. The most advanced technology in the galaxy was being crushed by something they could not understand. Humanity's first strike was not just a military action. It was a message. We are not your slaves. We are not your resources. We are something else entirely. Commander Park watched the screens carefully. The entire alien attack force was being eliminated in minutes. Not hours, not days, minutes. Status report, he said quietly. 0 human casualties. The computer responded. 100% alien fleet destruction. The solar system looked peaceful. Nothing seemed to have changed, but everything had changed. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had just shown its true colors. And they were not the colors the alien confederation had expected. Far away, on alien worlds, leaders would soon learn a simple truth. Humans were not a species to be controlled. Humans were a species to be feared. The news spread faster than light itself. On thousands of alien worlds, communication networks began to crash. The messages were impossible, unbelievable, but they were true. Humanity had destroyed an entire Galactic Confederation battle fleet. In minutes. The first reports were dismissed as errors, mistakes, impossible stories. But more and more data came in. Confirmed by multiple sources, verified by independent observation stations. One alien communication hub went silent, then another. The information was too strange to process. On the crystal world of Krovax, the High Council gathered. Their meeting chamber was usually calm. Today, it was filled with chaos. "This cannot be true," said Councillor Zrel, his crystal body flickering with confusion. "Humans are a Tier 3 civilization. They cannot have destroyed our entire first contact fleet." But the data was clear. Every single ship was gone, destroyed by something the aliens could not understand. Communication networks across the galaxy began to show the same information. Detailed reports, sensor logs, recordings from the destroyed ships. They all showed the same thing. Humans had not just defended themselves. They had completely eliminated an entire advanced battle fleet without losing a single human life. On another world, a group of alien researchers studied the available data. They looked at every single piece of information. They checked and double-checked, but the result was always the same. Something was very wrong with their understanding of humans. The Galactic Confederation had hundreds of advanced civilizations. They had conquered worlds, controlled entire star systems. They had technologies that could destroy planets, but they had never seen anything like this. Human weapons were not just advanced. They were something else entirely. Adaptive systems that could think faster than living brains. Weapon platforms that could change strategy in milliseconds. Communication networks that could process more information than entire alien civilizations. More reports came in. Detailed analysis of the destroyed fleet showed something even more terrifying. The humans had not just destroyed the ships. They had completely understood and neutralized every single piece of alien technology. "It's like they knew our systems better than we do," one researcher said. Panic began to spread. Some alien worlds wanted to launch a counterattack. Others wanted to negotiate. Some simply wanted to hide. But everyone was asking the same question. Who are these humans? The Confederation's communication networks were going crazy. Messages flew back and forth. Emergency meetings were called. Leaders argued. Scientists analyzed data. But the truth was simple and clear. Humanity was not what they thought. On Earth, Commander Hyun Park watched the galactic communications. He saw the confusion, the fear, the total breakdown of alien confidence. They thought we were weak, he said quietly to his team. They had been preparing for this moment for years. Decades of secret research, hidden technologies, adaptive systems that could do things no other civilization could understand. The first strike was more than a military action. It was a message. We are not your slaves. We are not your resources. We are something else entirely. Alien leaders would soon learn a simple truth. Humans were not a species to be controlled. Humans were a species to be feared. The galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity was just getting started. The counteroffensive began without warning. General Jae Kim stood in the Central Command Center, watching screens that showed something impossible. Humanity was not just defending. They were attacking. Alien communication networks started to fall apart. First slowly, then all at once. Quantum communication systems developed in secret underground facilities began to work in ways no alien technology could understand. They didn't just break alien networks. They consumed them, transformed them, turned the most advanced communication systems in the galaxy into nothing more than useless metal. On a dozen alien worlds, power systems began to fail, not from external attacks, but from within. Adaptive human AI systems had found every single weakness, every single vulnerability, and they were exploiting them faster than any biological intelligence could respond. Target identified, a computer voice said. Another alien communication hub went dark. Then another. Then an entire planetary defense network. The humans were not just fighting. They were dismantling the entire Galactic Confederation piece by piece. Alien leaders watched in total shock. Their most advanced technologies were being turned against them. Weapon systems that had conquered thousands of worlds were now useless. Communication networks that had controlled entire star systems were now nothing more than dead circuits. General Kim's voice was calm when he spoke into the communication system. Continue operation. Satellites dropped from orbit. Communication towers collapsed. Entire planetary defense grids simply stopped working. It was not destruction in the traditional sense. This was something else. A complete and total neutralization of an entire galactic power structure. The human strategy was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. They were not just destroying physical infrastructure. They were dismantling the very systems that held the Confederation together. Communication networks went silent. Navigation systems failed. Weapon platforms became useless hunks of metal. On one alien world, a group of researchers tried to understand what was happening. Their most advanced analysis systems could not process the speed and complexity of human attacks. It's like they know our systems better than we do, one researcher said. Another world saw its entire planetary defense grid simply stop working. Not destroyed, not damaged, just inactive. Adaptive human systems moved through alien technologies like a virus, finding every weakness, exploiting every vulnerability. The attack was not just military. It was a complete systematic breakdown of alien power structures. Entire star systems went dark. Communication networks crashed. Weapon platforms became useless. General Kim watched the screens carefully. Each moment showed another piece of the Confederation falling apart. Status report, he said quietly. Confederation infrastructure failure at 62%. The computer responded. Continuing operation. Alien leaders began to panic. Emergency meetings were called. But it was too late. Humanity was dismantling their entire civilization faster than they could respond. The message was clear and simple. We are not your slaves. We are not your resources. We are something else entirely. On Earth, teams of researchers and military experts watched the operation unfold. They had been preparing for this moment for years. Decades of secret research, hidden technologies, adaptive systems that could do things no other civilization could understand. The counteroffensive was more than a military action. It was a statement. The galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity was just getting started. The silence was different now. Across thousands of alien worlds, something had changed. The Galactic Confederation was no longer the powerful force it had once been. Entire star systems sat quiet. Communication networks remained dead. Massive space stations drifted like empty shells. In the United Nations headquarters, Admiral Su Jin Lee reviewed the final reports. The numbers were clear. Humanity had not just won a war. They had completely dismantled an entire galactic power structure. "Surrender terms are ready," she said to Colonel Wu Jin. The surrender documents were simple, short, brutal in their clarity. The Galactic Confederation would dismantle its current leadership. They would submit to human oversight. They would transfer all technological data. They would provide complete access to their remaining infrastructure. No negotiations, no discussions. Alien worlds that had once mocked humanity now sent desperate communication requests. Some begged for mercy. Some offered technology. Some simply wanted to survive. Humanity's response was always the same: total compliance. On different planets, alien leaders gathered in emergency meetings. Their conversations were filled with fear and confusion. How could a species they had considered so primitive destroy everything they had built? The human strategy had been perfect, not just militarily, but systematically. Every single alien weakness had been found and exploited. Communication networks, weapon systems, planetary defenses. Nothing was safe from human adaptive technologies. Colonel Jin looked at the surrender documents. Each line was carefully written, each word chosen with precision. You will dismantle all current governmental structures. You will provide complete technological transfer. You will submit to human oversight. Failure to comply will result in complete system shutdown. Simple, direct, uncompromising. Alien researchers tried to understand what had happened. How could humans have developed technologies so advanced? How could they have moved so quickly? How could they have understood alien systems better than the aliens themselves? The answer was simple. Humans had been preparing for this moment for years. Decades of secret research, hidden technologies, adaptive systems that could do things no other civilization could understand. Some alien worlds wanted to fight back, but their weapon systems were now useless. Their communication networks destroyed, their entire infrastructure neutralized. Humanity had not just won a war. They had rewritten the rules of galactic conflict. "Send the final communication," Admiral Lee said. A message went out to every single alien world. Short, clear, impossible to misunderstand. Surrender is mandatory. Compliance is required. Resistance is futile. Alien civilizations that had conquered thousands of worlds now found themselves completely powerless. Their most advanced technologies were nothing more than useless metal. Their communication networks were dead. Their weapon systems were inactive. Humanity had shown the galaxy something important. We are not your slaves. We are not your resources. We are something else entirely. The first wave of human oversight teams began to arrive on alien worlds. Not as conquerors, not as destroyers, but as managers, as controllers, as the new power in the galaxy. Alien leaders who had once laughed at humans now bowed their heads. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Never underestimate humanity. Never again. Years had passed since the great victory. Commander Hyun Park sat in his office, looking at the star maps that now showed human-controlled space. The galaxy looked different now, completely different. Young cadets would come to listen to his stories. They wanted to understand how humanity had changed everything in just a few short weeks. It was never about technology, Park would tell them. It was about something else. The walls of his office were filled with historical records, Fragments of alien communication systems, pieces of technology that had once seemed unbeatable. Now they were nothing more than museum pieces. Dr. Hyen Kim, now the head of Galactic Research and Development, would often visit. They would discuss the moments that changed everything. The secret preparations, the hidden technologies, the adaptive systems that had saved humanity. We showed them who we really are, Kim would say. The stories were passed down, not just as military history, but as a lesson, a warning to anyone who might think of challenging humanity again. Alien worlds that had once been powerful now existed under human supervision, not as slaves, not as prisoners, but as carefully managed resources. Every single technological advancement was now reviewed, controlled, managed. Younger generations of humans grew up knowing something important. Humanity was not just another species in the galaxy. Humanity was the species that had rewritten the rules of galactic existence. School children learned about the Great Victory, how a species that was once considered primitive had completely dismantled the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, how adaptive thinking and determination had overcome seemingly impossible odds. The Galactic Confederation was now nothing more than a historical footnote. Commander Park would often tell his cadets one important lesson: never underestimate what humans can do when they work together. Research facilities continued to develop new technologies, not for war, but for exploration, for understanding, for pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Alien civilizations that had survived now understood something important. Humans were not just another species to be controlled. Humans were something else entirely. On different worlds, human oversight teams continued their work, not as conquerors, but as managers, as controllers, as the new power in the galaxy. The adaptive technologies that had won the war were now being used for something else: scientific exploration, medical research, understanding the universe in ways no one had ever imagined. We are not destroyers, Dr. Kim would say in her lectures. We are builders, explorers, problem solvers. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had changed it. Young cadets would listen to these stories. They would look at the star maps. They would understand something important. Humanity was not just another species. Humanity was something special, something unique. Commander Park would smile when he told the final part of the story, the part that really mattered. We showed them who we are, he would say, and we will never be underestimated again. The star maps continued to expand. Human-controlled space growing, pushing further, exploring deeper. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Never underestimate humanity. Never again. And humanity was just getting started.